time. Intro. It's intro time. Shush. Everyone shut up. What's going on, main characters? Welcome back to the Third Party Podcast. It's me and the boys. We got Slim in the Discord.
Hey, it's me.
It's me, Slim. And we got Cody in person. How's it going, bud?
It's me.
Cody. This is every time we have you guys greet. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. Remember, if you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. It's free. It's the best way to help us out, and you can always change your mind. Smash the like button, share the video out there. Join us in the chat. We're going to be paying attention to your comments while we're going through the topics today. We have a lot to cover. Smile 2 came out, and audience is actually really enjoying it. We have a review on it. We went and saw it last night. Got a lot to say on it. Asmongold has been canceled on Twitch. He was canceled. Banned from Twitch, and now has posted a apology video and a plans video. We also have Jerry. Yes, we did our best. Jerry Seinfeld has also backtracked on his comments about the extreme left, subverting comedy and making it harder to do comedy. And we also have Velma getting canceled. So we have several topics to get into today. Before we get into those topics, though, we're going to check in with our boys. What have you guys been up to this week? Yeah, just what have you guys been up to this week? Either one of you.
So I found a 7.5 hour history of like Lord of the Rings and whatnot that goes over the beginning of the world to the Fourth Age.
Like a video?
Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty good.
I bet that was great.
It all takes place like it's just a big map of like Middle Earth or wherever they're at, and then you got like pieces moving around, so you know the geography of where everything is.
Yep,
it's pretty cool.
I really, I loved when I was getting caught up on my history of Middle Earth. I was doing it through the audiobooks. I like to bike a lot, so I would find myself on. Not anymore. Ever since I've been injured, I haven't been biking that much. But I like to bike quite a bit, so I would throw on the audiobooks and just listen to all these classic Lord of the Rings stories. Not necessarily Lord of the Rings. I started in order from Nerd of the Rings channel. He had a video he posted where he had like a reading list and like a recommended reading order. So I started The Hobbit, then the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and then I went and listened to a book called Children of Hurin, which was a first age story. And I freaking love that. I love that book. That's my singularly favorite Tolkien story. And then I listened. Then after Children of Hurin, I went into the Silmarillion, which has the entire it's a legendarium. It's a huge anthology of the entire canon of the Middle Earth, and it's basically what you watched, but much longer. The audiobook is 14 hours.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be. It's condensed down. It just goes like events, not like,
not
there's
like the
little
interactions
stories
between
here
characters.
and there,
yeah, it's not the deep dive interactions between characters. But yeah, the reading list goes Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, Children of Hurin, the Silmarillion, and then you could jump into the secondary stories like Beren and Luthien, the Fall of Gondolin, the appendices, the untold stories or unfinished tales. Sorry. And then if the only book I really am desperate to read that I haven't yet is The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, which are not like the same.
Don't really care that
It's
much.
not even the same genre. I want to know more about Tom Bombadil and everything. We've been talking about him.
But yeah, I was doing that, and Penguin's been so freaking good, dude.
Yeah.
Well, like I was hearing bitching online about 4 being like a girl boss episode, but it's Sophia Falcone's episode and like her backstory. It's not like she's a girl boss or anything. But it's really freaking good.
Yeah, most great shows attribute at least one episode to some sort of backflash. If it's going to be a major character, you kind of want to know what actually happened with these characters.
Yeah,
in the
for
background.
sure.
But people are like, "Oh, it's turning into this girl boss story." It's not that.
Yeah.
It's still excellent. 4 episodes.
People need to relax, that kind of stuff. Yeah, if it's just one episode, if it continues that trend, you can justify that. But if it's just one episode,
basically setting up the antagonist and how she got to where she is.
But if we allow one woman to be the main character of an episode, then all of a sudden every video game's main protagonist will be a woman.
Yeah,
it'll ruin all video games for a decade.
Yeah, so they have 4 more episodes to fuck it up, but so far it's excellent.
It always starts with one, Cody. It always starts with one. Slim, what does your nerd week look like? What has your nerdiness been this week?
I've been jumping back and forth between Silent Hill 2 and Frostpunk 2, so I've been having some good times.
I'm sorry, not Frostpunk 2. Silent Hill 2 came out, and I kept seeing news about it, but no conversations. I kept seeing people like, oh, Silent Hill 2 is out, but no one was really talking about it. And it's not a game I broke into and really tried. What can you tell me about Silent Hill? I know the franchise exists. I don't know anything about the franchise.
Yeah, it's just a remake of the original Silent Hill 2. Just better, but they changed quite a bit about it. It's basically this town that's shrouded by like paranormal stuff.
A fog.
The hero just, basically, and just a lot of just goofy, weird stuff happens there, and the guy is going there. The story of this one, the guy's going there to find his wife who's been dead for 3 years, but she sent him a letter somehow. So he's like, well, she's gotta be alive, right?
You gotta find my wife.
That's basically just the beginning of the story. I'm halfway done. I got about 5 hours in. I think it's a 12 to 14 hour game.
Okay. I
believe.
My week I've been like, Cody's been on me about watching more of The Penguin, and I just have not been able to. I've chosen not to.
Yeah, you've chosen.
I've made conscious decisions in my life that have led me to this moment.
Isekais and shit.
No, I'm trying to get my bearings down on my watch schedule. I like the weekly release of content. I like the weekly release of content. My Hero Academia season 7 just finished up, so there's no more episodes of that coming out. There haven't been any episodes of Reincarnated as a Slime coming out, so I haven't been watching either of those.
Is this the half season break, or is it?
This is season 7. Season 7 is concluded. So we'll be back with season 8, which is actually like, it's probably as good of a stopping point as they could have had. It's
a hell of a cliffhanger.
It's a hell of a cliffhanger for you guys who like anime and My Hero Academia. All Might, quirkless All Might, going to war against the Demon King himself.
Basically turned into Iron Man.
He turned into Iron Man with all of the quirks he was copying from his kids. He doesn't have an original. He's never had an original power.
Well, yeah.
He's the biggest copycat in the series. But the main reason I'm having an issue getting ahead of shows is because I am starting to enjoy season 3 of ReZero has come back. Shout out to the fucking GOAT. ReZero is so goddamn good. They came out with an hour-long season premiere, and the second episode carried a lot of water too. Like this show is phenomenal, but it comes out on Wednesday mornings in the US. So like, when the fuck am I watching this show? Because I'm usually editing videos and doing the live stream on Thursdays. So it's like, when do I watch this show?
Gotta get in my Wednesday morning cartoons.
Exactly. Then you have Tulsa King.
Yeah.
Tulsa King comes out on Thursdays, and then Vox Machina comes out on Thursdays. So The Legend of Vox Machina on Amazon Prime is another show I really love. They have one more batch of episodes to come out. They do a weekly release, but they deploy the episodes in a batch of 3. So you wait a week, and then you get 3 episodes to watch. And I don't have a problem with that, except their seasons are really short. They end their seasons with 12 episodes, 12 30-minute episodes. I feel like that's really short. For a project, for the story of how their project got kicked off, I totally understand. But then you have Tulsa King that comes out on Sundays, and I'm trying to get my watch schedule ironed out and down, because on Sundays we also have Sunday Slackers. So I'm not.
Sundays is also Penguin.
I know.
Penguin.
I could pick one show. No, I'm choosing. My schedule for what I'm watching and when is a little foobarred. Normally I just get caught up on everything on Saturdays after the podcast to like.
Speaking of shows, forgot to bring this up for the news though. One of the writers for the new Harry Potter show
is woke. Oh, big
doesn't
surprise.
like the idea of like sticking to source material and hasn't read the books.
I've heard that. Yes, I heard that news. Slim, did you hear that?
Nice.
Oh.
No, as you should hire that kind of person. That's smart.
That's how you do it. Well, and that was Amazon, or that was Max's big pitch, right? I mean, Max was like, "We're gonna do 8 seasons, and we're gonna spend a season on a book, and it's gonna be
7 seasons."
Sure, and you're
7 seasons, fine. 7 books.
But my point was that was their selling point, right? Yeah. It's like they were saying there was so much you didn't get out of the movies. We're gonna take our time and cover that. And now you have a writer who's like, "Fuck that! I'm in charge. I'm the boss."
My own story.
I'm going to tell
Reading's dumb.
It's Harriet Potter.
Harriet Laquan Potter. LaShawn. South Park references abound. All right, so it's been a pretty full, fun week. Everyone's had their stuff going on.
Stuff going on.
Yeah, you guys have stuff going on. But with that said, we got to jump into our first story. And Slim, we got you back on the podcast. You know the topics. What do you want to talk about first? We'll cover. You can choose which topic we go into first.
Smile too, because you guys went and watched the second one, and I've seen the first one, and I really liked it, and I've heard good things about the second one so far. I know it just came out, but
All right, everybody. Per Slim's request, we are gonna jump into Smile. We are gonna talk about our review of Smile.
This is just so he can be quiet for 20 minutes.
This is like, let's just get that out of the way.
No, I got my things. I've watched a couple reviews myself, and then I've seen the first Smile, which is, in my opinion, very good. I could see why it didn't like explode and go crazy, but it's one of those movies where
It was a
you could
surprise
just
hit.
watch it with buddies, or like I watched it on the airplane going on my honeymoon. I was like, that was pretty good.
You watched a horror
good way to
movie
kill a
going
couple
into your
hours.
honeymoon?
Well, and I think we can actually cover this movie, do the review of this movie without spoilers, because it's a horror film. There are going to be scary moments. I don't think there's any particular scene we need to deep cover that would be a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do
Yeah,
you? Well,
maybe we can try.
Well, let's do our
We can
best.
try.
If we get into spoilers, we will let you know as the
I'll
audience.
say
but
it
we'll-
after I spoil it.
Yes.
I'll be like, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
spoilers.
Oh, that was a spoiler.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Smile. Okay, so Smile 2 is a direct sequel to the original movie. The opening scene is
Fantastic.
the opening scene was amazing. Cody loves to talk about the cinematography on that, so I'll just set the stage and then let you kind of run the scene.
Well,
But
if you give me one long shot, I'm gonna like the scene, regardless of what's going on.
well, that was like your
It's
deal.
like 10-minute long, just with single cut.
That's impressive on
Or
its
they
own.
hit it
Good.
very
That's impressive.
They
Yeah,
hit it very
it was
well.
crazy.
Well, no one's really talking about that specifically because like the only other that's impressive. The Revenant had like that bear attack was
Yeah,
one
there's a
long
couple
shot
long
in the
ones.
Revenant.
Children
Oh,
of Men.
yeah. I
Children of
remember
Men
that.
does it a lot too.
Children of Men. You had what was the movie that was like 1917.
1917, yeah.
I hated that movie. I thought that movie
I
sucked.
liked it.
Like Tox hates the veterans. I forgot which one of us was who. It's like I
Yeah,
know,
don't throw me under that bus.
I know Slim talks about hating the veterans so much. I got us
no,
mixed up.
I don't. No.
You've never met a World War I veteran.
But the opening scene was insanely impressive. The biggest accolade I think this movie you should walk away from this movie thinking was, wow, those actors fucking crushed it.
Oh yeah, the main chick. What's her name? Naomi Scott.
Yeah, Naomi Scott.
I heard she did amazing.
She
work.
was
Yeah.
so good. Such a believable pop star / like haunting victim. It was phenomenal. She did great. And I looked through her filmography and I was a little surprised to
Nothing real big except for Aladdin.
Aladdin. She was in Power Rangers, which I know you wouldn't care about.
Yeah,
but
that
as
was the last
no
big
one
in
saw Power Rangers.
I went and saw it in theaters. I thought it was awesome. I felt like total nostalgia watching Power Rangers, and I don't care what anyone says. That was fun.
That's
I enjoy.
adorable.
Yeah, it is. But no, she doesn't have a laundry list of amazing achievements, but this is going to be up there.
Mhm.
This is going to be something that's going to be carrying her reputation for a while. I think she's going to walk away from this with a lot of offers, I'd expect.
Yeah, genuinely creepy. Plenty of freaking jump scares. There's more than I thought it was gonna be. It's like anytime it got quiet and she's alone, which happens a lot.
Yeah.
Jump scare.
I literally could not take a breath in this freaking movie. I was constantly like assaulted by jump
You're
scares and like
"Alright,
scary
she's
moments.
she's out in public, talking to other people. Maybe it'll be chill for a little bit. And it's like, no,
No, there's
we're gonna
more.
have this 9-year-old just staring at her, smiling while taking pictures.
Yeah, there's let me see if I can get some of these shots here.
Just constant tension then, huh? So
It was
kind of is.
It was
yeah.
perpetual. And even the first one, I think, okay, so if I'm remembering back, because I have seen the first one, but it was over a couple of years ago, when it was like right after it released from theaters into digital, because I didn't see it in theaters. I
Right, yeah, I didn't.
There were several movies that were kind of coming out, horror films about the same time, and all of them looked unappealing. And so I kind of just chalked this one up to, I'm not going to enjoy this. And then my sister's like, you need to see Smile. And I was like, oh, no, I don't want to. I throw it on one night because I'm bored and I watch it like on streaming. I was like, oh, dear God, I missed this. This was so good. I slept on the first one and I regretted that. But now, I was like,
yeah,
thank you.
Just
Sorry,
that out
you
there.
you broke up. Say it again. Yes.
I said, yeah, the first one was very good.
It was awesome. So the second one, I would argue the second one is better than the first one. I think the acting in the second one is so good. I don't even remember if the acting in the first one was amazing.
There's a lot about the first one I don't remember. I just
Right.
remember bits and pieces of it.
But the acting in the second one is amazing. The jump scares were really well done, like really well placed. Like they pull a lot of moments from her life into it. In the first one, I remembered it kind of being a little bit more like visions of random people, but in this one, it kept showing like these people she had actually seen or engaged with like over and over again. Which I really liked.
Played on the tragic incident a year before the movie takes place quite a bit too.
Yeah, we should probably explain that. Well,
I mean, it's like right in the beginning of the movie. She was in a car crash a year before. She appears on the Drew Barrymore show, which took me out of it for a second.
Yeah, Drew Barrymore's a hard one to kind of be like, oh, I enjoy thinking about you. No, I don't even care for her movies particularly.
Yeah, but she was in a car accident. Her boyfriend died. They were both doped up out of their minds. And then later in the movie, you find out kind of why and how the accident happened.
Yep. And so
that's why she's kind of more. It goes back to like why she's like always blaming herself for fucking up people's lives.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
I mean, she's definitely a sympathetic character because you see that she's living this pop idol lifestyle and you see how much struggle there is with that, like especially if you're going through like rehabilitation, trying to get over drug use and trying to get over alcohol, all this
chugging water like a maniac instead.
Yep. And then you witness like, okay, so the catalytic event for the smile monster affecting you or starting to haunt you is that you witness the death of someone, like a gruesome death of someone else, and that's how it affects you and you become the new victim. So she witnesses that right before she's about to start her tour, and any like creepy thing that happens to her, people are describing it to her like previous drug use and stuff. So, I mean, if it was happening to me, everyone knows I don't use drugs. So people will be like, oh shit, he's actually being haunted, because I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe.
Maybe if you finally broke.
He's like, he's finally using drugs.
Finally snapped.
No, but people,
it all got to him.
But she's not a believable she's not a believable character to her, like in her circle, because they all suspect that anything wrong with her is potentially her using. They're tiptoeing around it, being like, I don't want to ask you this, but are you? And she's like freaks out about that because everything happening to her
that's good
horrifies. So the premise is awesome. Like the pop star being affected, totally amazing. What a great choice for like a character. You could grab some random Joe Schmo like a nurse. I know nurses are amazing, but whatever. You could grab a random Joe Schmo and have them be haunted. But the choice to use a pop star in the story that you chose to write, amazing.
Yeah, I knew,
brilliant.
I knew right away when they unveiled who the protagonist was going to be. I knew right away how it was going to end. But boy, they really they fucked with how to get there.
So there were multiple.
There were a couple of twists in the movie.
Yeah, there were a couple of twists in the movie that really screw your head up.
The one scene in an apartment is creepy as fuck when you start seeing people.
I think we could talk about that one. I think we could break it down. Do you?
I mean, we could a little bit.
I don't think that's a spoiler so much as it's just like one example of
It's another night of being haunted kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So then I think to talk about that scene specifically, I think just goes to like give an example of like why it's awesome.
It's creepy because they get these like professional dancers pretty much to play these like visions.
Yes.
They're smiling and they're like dance running at you almost, and it's creepy as fuck.
Yep. They keep pausing.
That is creepy.
Yeah, they keep. Yeah, the dance choreography jump scare was the best part of the movie in my mind. Besides
it was a hell of a scene. Yeah,
that was an amazing. It was so well done, and all. I mean, these people are all extras, right? None of them have none of them have a voice role in the movie.
No, they're probably like her dance team or something.
Exactly.
That she's seen.
And it's like everyone, like just how hard it is to put on that smile specifically. Like I know, like
right.
I couldn't, if you gave me all the time in the world, I could not have done that smile, that intentional, like really creepy, over the top smile. I mean, I can look creepy, but I can't look like that because I can look very creepy.
It's funny. This part you stopped on, this creepy fan or whatever.
Yeah.
I think he was just a creepy fan. I don't think he was part of the illusion or anything.
Oh yeah. Yep. So I
he gets real weird.
But we don't know. It could be. Ooh, mystery.
Ooh. Well, technically, no, at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's funny. Last night, I actually had a jump scare in my dream that woke me up, and I'm like seeing the smile and
That
shit.
movie.
And I'm like, oh fuck, that's a first. All right, back to sleep.
I flew out of my seat at like 2 or 3 times, and I was like actually embarrassed. I was like, what the fuck just happened to me? Like, normally horror films, I mean, I succumb to jump scares in horror films. That's part of the enjoyment of it.
They always get me every time.
the entertainment.
No, then you know they're coming and they still get you.
Right, but I'm animated about it.
yeah.
Like I do cartwheels out of my seat.
Just looks like I'm having a seizure.
No, okay, I think I do want to talk a little bit about spoilers with this, but before we jump into the spoilers, I just want to talk real quick, jump over to the Rotten Tomatoes scores on this, because on IMDb you got 7.3, but the audience has spoken and the critics have both spoken, and we've got, let me zoom in on that a little bit. Slim loves it when I zoom. 86% and 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. Cody, before we jump into spoilers, how does that?
How much do you want to spoil it, really, though? Because do we really want to spoil it for Slim?
You know what?
That's fine. I won't see it for
no.
when I'm on it. And
Cody's right. We're gonna skip spoilers. We're gonna let the audience enjoy this one. And honestly, we slept on this one. I think neither of us were 100% into going to see this.
No, I didn't care if we went to it or not. Was this opening weekend or was it last week?
No, this is opening weekend.
Oh shit!
We saw like the
second day,
the 8th showing, the second night. Yeah. How does this sync up with your review, Cody? Like, where are you at numbers wise on Smile?
Dude, I'm kind of sitting at that 7.58 as well. It's really horror. The horror genre in general is not my thing. You got to be like psychological horror thriller almost.
Right.
And this one basically is. It's a mental game the entire time.
Yeah.
So that's what usually gets my butt in the seats when it comes to horror.
For me, it's normally it's like The Conjuring. Like, I like a haunting happening.
Mm-hmm.
I like when ghosts are like moving shit and fucking with people's brains, and a demon pops out of nowhere with like those jump scares. I like that in the Conjuring series. Love that in Annabelle. Annabelle's one of my favorite horror films of all time. I liked it with It and It 2. I thought that was phenomenal. So I like these haunting kind of movies. Now, there's a specific subgenre of that called that are The Haunting. It's like The Haunting of Connecticut, the Amityville Haunting or whatever.
Amityville horror.
Yeah. So all these like the sub genre of like The Hauntings are not really one I care for too much. I feel like they're under budgeted and they underproduced.
Yeah. I mean, like there was a couple of like horror trailers that are coming out. The only one that seems interesting to me, mostly because it's directed by Robert Eggers, that's done The Northman and The Witch or The Vivitch, however you want to pronounce it, or Lighthouse. He's really good. It's the Nosferatu movie coming out.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Saw the trailer for that.
Would be good.
The trailer confuses the hell out of me because it feels like a 18th century?
It kind of seems like that, but
it feels like 18th, 19th century Europe meets Van Helsing meets like stupid like female director like idea of scary like in the woods shit going on meets none of that stuff is super appealing to me. But then in the trailer of Nosferatu, you see this like hand flying, the shadow of a hand flying over a city. I'm just like, what am I actually fucking watching? That's got to be like a dream that the main protagonist is having or something. It's not real. It's not like actually it's not actually a thing that happens, but a dream or some vision she's having. Yeah, that can't possibly be that. So Nosferatu could be entertaining. So I would give this movie, I think this movie is a solid 8. And for me, it's a strong recommendation in theaters.
I think it's almost rewatchable.
I would say it's rewatchable too. There's probably
in theater, like almost even going to see it again kind of thing.
Right. I think this movie is amazing. I hope it has an amazing run in the theaters. I hope it keeps up. And here's one thing that was really cool. I think this turned both of us off on this movie though. In the very beginning of the film, right as it's starting, you have Naomi actually sitting down and doing a brief monologue to the audience saying, thank you for coming and supporting this film. Really appreciate you guys coming out to the theaters. and we had a lot of fun making this, and hope
She
you're
pulled a
enjoying.
Tom Cruise
Yes.
for
Yeah.
Top Gun.
Yeah.
And so they did that, and I have only seen that happen twice. I've only seen 2 movies do it, this and Top Gun. That's my only examples of it.
Right when I saw that, I'm like, oh, they don't really believe in this project, do they?
No, and that's what I was getting too. I was getting this we made a project for ourselves and begging you to like it versus
Right.
like
Basically.
we actually worked hard on this and hope you enjoy it. Like, it's not about our love of the project, it's about your love of the project. That's how, after seeing the movie, I've retconned my position on that. When my initial impression, it felt disingenuous, but
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, this actually was an amazing work.
Because you're always skeptical when it comes to sequels and stuff too.
I am.
It's like the first one came out, ended up being a hit when nobody really expected it. So it's like, all right, let's make a second one. It's kind of like what happened with
Just
Joker
do
2.
it.
Yep. No,
Yeah, they pulled it off on this one.
I think this was, for many reasons, not for any one singular reason. I think this one covered all of its bases a little better than the first movie. I think the premise was smarter.
I got to go back and rewatch the first one.
I think the premise of this one was smarter. I think the acting was a little bit better. I thought the way you interact with the monster was you knew what the monster was. Even in the first movie, they actually show you the monster. It's this ugly pink freaking Goobala. P. Diddy looking thing. And is that racist?
No, it's what's hiding in P. Diddy's basement.
But I think that they covered all of its bases a little better than the first one. So if you enjoyed the first one,
That's, I'd say, the one thing I don't actually like is seeing the monster.
I like
Like at the end of this one, it was kind of throwing me off.
You remember in the cooler, when you see its eyes, that fucked with my head. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
That was so good.
But like, yeah, on this one, I think they should have they just get the other people's reaction, and I think that should have just been enough
Yep.
instead of seeing the monster and all that shit.
Well, and it has a lot of gory moments too, but it's not like we talked about this the other day. It's like if you're adversarial to like slasher films like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or like Friday the 13th, or like Nightmare on Elm Street, if you don't like slasher films or if you don't like those, this movie does a really good job of still killing people off in gruesome ways, but making it feel like you're actually absorbing it. Really, it's an easier way to absorb it. They cut away. They don't like just zoom in on the grossness. A lot of it feels CGI, so it kind of softens my interpretation of how it looks.
I think it's worse too, because it's someone doing it to themselves with a ridiculous fucking smile on their face. So it's even more disturbing, I'd say.
Yeah, so it's good. I guess we'll have to let the audience interpret it how they want to interpret it once they've done. But if you
suicide by taking his jaw off with a crowbar, that
threw you off, yeah. And that was like a 10 frame. That was like a 10 frame thing,
Yeah,
so it wasn't even like you watched the moment. It was like
Jesus, man, you got to show everything.
It's a snapshot. Slim, any questions on the movie you want to hear? Anything you want to know?
No, I mean, less is better at this point. I
Yep.
think you did enough, and like you said,
You've done enough.
don't
Stop.
spoil the ending. So I could, just stop. I want to see it. It is something I'm interested in going.
Did I give my score on this? I don't think.
Yeah, you said it was a solid 8.
I think it was a solid 8 and a strong recommendation to see in theaters. Strong.
Yeah, I'd see it.
It's
good.
One last thing was, as part of that opening monologue from Naomi, she did say something that confused me. She said this was going to be a Smile universe, and universe means something very particular in film industry right now.
I suppose.
And so
this is going to be a franchise.
That's what I'm wondering. Is it going to feed off into more of this same thing? And
well, if they keep up the quality, I'm there for it. But
yeah, I mean, Conjuring got sequels. Annabelle got sequels. I mean, like horror films, like Insidious got sequels. I mean, Insidious is actually probably one of the best examples. It got so many sequels.
Yeah, I haven't watched all those.
Yeah, it did.
But for those of you watching this, the audience and the reviews have spoken. 8.5 is about the average between.
It's unanimous.
I've got an 8 on this. I even could be like, I'm an 8, but I'm a hard 8. It could be higher. Cody, you're a 7.58.
I'd say, yeah, let's go 8.
8 lock in? Okay. Yeah.
Lock it in, yay.
I've had so many conversations with people in my life who have told me there's nothing to see in theaters. They have nothing they want to go enjoy. You've got something here. Go enjoy yourself. Have some fun. Spend some money. Get some popcorn. Have a snack. It might be a while before we get another really phenomenal movie in theaters again.
Excited for Gladiator 2?
I'm mildly curious.
Morbidly
Optimistic.
curious.
I'm mildly curious, but I'm not necessarily excited.
We're going to see that.
Yeah, I know. It was a movie no one asked for, so I'm okay with not seeing it. But I mean, we got to review it. So but yeah, it could be a while before we see anything else great in the theater. So go and enjoy yourselves. Go check this one out. You'll have a great time with it. All right.
It's good shit, man.
It really was, right?
And I didn't eat
Yeah.
popcorn this time, so I was pleasantly comfortable.
Yeah, I did have popcorn, so I got some gut rot.
I'm getting old, man. I can't have popcorn anymore. I can't have eggs anymore for some reason.
All right, the next story I think we're going to jump to is we're going to talk Asmongold. So we're going to cover Asmongold's apology, his cancellation. We got a few things to cover. So without further ado, let's jump into that. Asmongold put out a video a couple days ago that
What's
is
the setup.
okay. So Asmongold, let me pull up the article that is actually the setup.
He's been randomly just showing up in my algorithm on YouTube.
Well, it's because okay,
It just started a few months ago too.
Okay. So Asmongold had put out a bunch of apparently he's been talking about like Palestine and Israel has been a topic that has come up everywhere.
What's going on there?
All versions of life. So of course Asmongold's going to say some things on it. He's one of the biggest streamers in the world and biggest on I think is he the biggest on Twitch or is he
I have no idea what's going on that horrible website.
Sure. But Asmongold's huge. He's got millions of subscribers on YouTube, millions of followers on Twitch. And so Asmongold, you know, he's doing his thing and Israel Palestine comes up and he makes some pretty callous comments about Palestine and Palestinians and just basically saying the truth that they're all evil and bad. No,
Jesus.
no, but he's saying
Fast track your cancellation.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're doing a speed run here.
We've worked so hard, and in the end, it didn't even matter. But no, he's basically talking about the Palestine and the genocide of Israel, like the genocide of Israel, and he's talking about both sides of the story, and basically calling out the Palestinians as being bad, the bad side and the good versus evil of that
you
conversation.
take one side or the other on this topic on the internet, you're gonna get hate for it.
Well, here's the thing: I do.
Oh, for sure.
I do have one side of this. But
I actually bowed out of this one. I'm over it. I don't care.
about Palestine. Well, I think that's more or less my perspective on it is if it's on the other side of a big body of water, like
What would constitute a big body of water? Like you don't care what
the
happens.
Great Lakes.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't care what happens on the other side of
I
that.
don't care what happens in New York, Michigan, some kind of Wisconsin. I could see like the bottom tail of Wisconsin without it being on the other end of water. But but all the same is Asmongold's was actually banned from Twitch for these comments. At the same time, you have Hassan Piker interviewing like all these people and having horrible people on, and he's like insulated and pretty protected, it seems. But
yeah,
Asmongold issued an apology the other day, and it's already got 2.5 million views on it. People want to know what's going on with this, and he more or less he apologized. Actually, I watched the whole thing, and his takes on it were he's basically covering it for about religious extremism is his like
yeah, he hates the
religious fundamentalism. Yeah. That's the thing he has a big problem with. And so when it comes to the Palestinian Israel conflict, you kind of look at the Muslim population of that, and it's hard to differentiate that like that religious sentiment from the everyday person who's trying to live a life in Palestine because they keep voting for religious fundamentalism. So, but I'm sorry, I'm not trying to keep inserting my position into this, but yeah. So he apologized. He talked about what was going on. Apparently, his dad was an influence in him coming back and making this comment, and how people in his life were telling him to just chill out and calm down on this, and it's to disinvolve yourself from the topic.
I mean, granted, it is the start of World War III, but chill out, you know.
People got
take it step by step.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not that big of a deal,
right?
Here's the thing: he shouldn't have apologized. Here's my position on it:
they've been doing it for years.
he shouldn't have apologized. I mean, if he wants to explain where he's at and change his worldview, which this seems more of a here's where I'm at with it, like an update rather than a full apology. He does say he's changed his perspective on things and has settled down and has had people who are Palestinian or like people talk to him.
Like he was kind of like had almost like a normie position. Like he didn't know much about what was going on. Like, does anyone really have all the fucking details about it? But
no, yeah,
they still like the one piece of crucial information that everyone is missing about the Middle East conflict is it all started over a stolen goat.
Yeah.
But so he's updated people. He's talking about what he's going to be doing going forward. He's actually going to be cutting back on streaming. It seems like he's focused more on mental health. He's going to be going on a mental health journey now.
That's gay. Keep streaming.
Well, he's he's still gonna stream. That's still gonna happen. He's still gonna put out streams. But he's
going on my mental health journey.
Well,
Could you imagine saying that to anyone in your friend group?
Well, I mean, so here's.
Oh, please do say that when I see it tonight. That'd be great.
I can sympathize with I mean, we're a very small channel relative to his, like a speck.
Yeah.
We're so relative to his, but I can see like just if you're running a channel for 3 million subscribers and you also have a podcast and you also have
his
a
entire
company,
life is online.
Yeah, he does not. This guy does not get 5 minutes. Like this guy's he's Elon Musk level working on an entirely different field, but he's constantly doing shit.
Yeah, I at least get 9 hours a day
I
to
can
go
see
touch
why you
grass.
need a break from it then.
Yeah. And so for him, so what he's kind of said is that he's looking to like live more of a normal life, and he wants to fix a few things in his life.
Step outside once in a while.
Step outside. He's going to start cleaning his house. He's going to take showers.
Clean your room.
But no, he did a self-assessment, and he had other people chime in on where he was at with his life and what got their thoughts from it. And it sounds like he's going to be doing a lot more things to try to improve on his life. And when he said he's going to cut back on streaming, it's just that he's still going to continue to stream. He's still huge, and he will remain huge. But he is going to cut back. He's also taking a step back from his leadership roles in OTK and Starforge, so he's not going to be like.
Well, they kind of ousted him, didn't they?
No, those are his. So he basically runs them now. I believe it was OTK put out a statement, and we actually have that. Let me zoom in so you guys can read that too. Okay, so this was from October 16th.
He's
so
got a first name?
no.
Oh.
A few days ago, Asmongold made. So this is the comment from OTK. So OTK Network. A few days ago, Asmongold made some comments that, even in his own words, were disgusting and abhorrent. OTK denounces all forms of discrimination and violence, and that sort of behavior cannot be tolerated. Yesterday evening, we spoke to Asmongold, and he will be stepping away from his roles at OTK and our affiliate companies Starforge, Mythic, and Mad Mushroom. So
When they say they denounce all forms of discrimination and violence, does that mean they're just Switzerland and every?
Yeah.
well, so
That's exactly what that means.
obviously, this is a.
That's a very political answer.
This is a pro-Palestinian tweet. No,
Yeah.
our conversation, Asmongold vehemently expressed his desire to change his life and broaden his perspective. Earlier today, he posted a video detailing his thoughts on his comments, along with changes he plans on making moving forward. We hope Asmongold remains committed to the promises he has made to us, the community, and to himself. In the meantime, OTK will continue to fostering an open and inclusive work environment dedicated to producing best live streaming content possible for our community and partners. Yeah, so I mean, in his own video, he does talk about like how he's going to be stepping away from the leadership roles in these platforms. So I mean, this is just
it's a very just like political news update.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, so OTK's like response to the Asmongold situation, in my mind, okay, if you have an opinion on the Middle East, you are one of 8 billion people who have an opinion on the Middle East. So the fact that you have a good or bad opinion is irrelevant.
I don't know. I don't think the people in Uganda really know that much about it.
Fair enough. Like,
You can cut down a few billion.
give them a map and just see what happens. I'm curious. Just airdrop in a bunch of globes. First airdrop in helmets, then airdrop in globes.
Then in globes, yeah. You gotta
But don't drop the helmets on the people. That would be defeat the purpose of the
now we got to
helmets.
airdrop in styrofoam first.
We got to. This is what happens in Ukraine and Israel with all of our hundreds of billions of dollars. We just keep airdropping them in useless shit that winds up hurting them in the end. But Asmongold having an opinion on the Middle East, and even if it is a distasteful, which I don't think it was, I think it's pretty vanilla in its tone about like one faction or the other. Like the amount of rhetoric around how evil Israeli people are, his comment wasn't even on the same level as that towards the Palestinian people.
I don't know. I don't think a lot of people understand the restraint that Israel is holding.
Exercising right now.
Yeah, they're like the third most powerful military in the world. They could dominate that area, and they're really holding back.
They're dialing it down. They're chilling out. They're just vibing. But
They're just vibing, yeah.
my thought is take your ban, and absolutely do not apologize. First up, as soon as he apologized, there was a whirlwind of like,
Oh, you
People-
apologize?
you
Go back?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
backing up, huh?
yeah,
There is no right or wrong when it comes to
Nope.
trying to appease people on the internet.
exactly. Now on
Right.
on the inverse, there are plenty of people who think Asmongold did absolutely nothing wrong. It's like I just searched Asmongold, and one of the first ones is I don't know who Asmongold is, but he's right. The Palestinians are not victims. It's like, yeah, he's got a bunch of posts on here. He's talking about Asmongold did nothing wrong. Like he's
Oh
like,
my god.
a lot of people are still coming to his defense. I mean, you got a breakdown of crime and penalty for Islam. I mean, a lot of this shit
The
is
problem is being like he's mostly into like games, pop culture shit. Like he gives his opinions on. And as soon as you differ from that, and when you're most known by millions of
Yep.
people for that,
yeah.
yeah.
All of a sudden, it's a big bad thing. But yeah, it's like
Pictures of his room.
this is what he's trying to fix. I guess he's gonna be cleaning his room. First off, this doesn't look that much worse than our place. It's like-
That's a fuckload of cups, man.
that's so many
Dude,
cups.
that guy's never gonna be thirsty
How do you
again.
not just have a trash bag sitting right there that you just throw them in? And as soon as you leave your room, you walk out with it.
Yeah, Asmongold makes Asmongold's culture argument. I have not watched that video.
Asmongold. I don't want to listen to Hassan.
Asmongold is a Nazi. He's a Nazi, says Loza.
because he's white.
Yeah. So he does have defenders coming out and speaking on his behalf, just saying like this is a global conflict. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has
Yeah.
something to say on the Middle East. Half the world thinks Israel's evil, half the world thinks Palestine's evil. It's him having an opinion is completely non-starter for me.
It doesn't help Palestine having Iran's backing, but
Right. I mean, exactly. Well, yeah. So again, it's so convoluted and stupid, and like he never like if he wants to improve his life, which it sounds like his main things are that he's going to be stepping away from streaming to try to do some self-improvement shit. He's gonna be cleaning his own house. He's gonna be.
how does he not have a maid, bro?
Well, he
How much
brings
money
it up
that guy make?
in this video. He brings it up. He says he could have a maid, but he is choosing to just start taking care of himself better.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be doing that.
Start.
That's
You could have started with the maid and then fired her, and it's like, all right, maybe I can do it by myself.
Imagine if he started this live stream with a perfectly spotless, clean room.
You should have had it.
That would have been a good.
Should have had
start.
it with an immigrant in the background picking stuff up.
A Palestinian maid he
I'm
hired.
gonna start cleaning my room. You just see this old lady in the background.
You want to keep this? No, throw it.
Throw it away. It's garbage.
Hoarders are the opposite. They're like, all right, we're gonna throw this away. No, I need that moldy sandwich for something else.
So yeah, hopefully he does take care of himself a little better. Honestly,
I think we all could improve a little bit.
everyone drink more water. Drink more water, do more push-ups.
Yeah.
Except me.
Yep.
I have a broken wrist, so
Have
I
a
can't.
fridge under
You
your
can't do that yet.
countertop
Not yet.
filled with this water that paid an exorbitant amount of money to have product placement in Smile 2.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's a different video, Cody. This is not good. These are like the audience who's watching this post live stream is not going to know that reference unless
Yeah.
they watch the other video. And this might go
Yeah.
out first.
I
So
jump around a lot.
you do. You crazy. You crazy
That's
little
okay.
fucker. Crazy bitch.
It's called a
Silly
callback.
little boy.
You crazy bitch. All right. The other video we have to be talking about is going to be okay, sorry. We're going to be moving into another top. I'm doing it out of order.
Transition.
We're making it happen. We're moving into
It's not live.
we're moving into another topic. We're going to be talking about Jerry Seinfeld. Right? Everyone's
He's, very,
Favorite comedian. Yeah.
he's a comedian.
prevalent.
He's definitely Jerry Seinfeld.
He was there.
Yeah.
So here's what's happening with Jerry Seinfeld. So Jerry Seinfeld, a while back, had an interview where he was talking about the extreme left, inhibiting comedy, like basically preventing people from enjoying comedy, and he
Yeah.
was right. And you only have to look at several videos on, like, all you have to do is go and look up live comedy hecklers, and they're like people who are like, you can't talk about obese people. You can't talk.
Shut up, fat bitch.
You can't talk about the LGBT. My son is gay. Like this is the kind of shit that the left is doing. Like they're going out. Like
You can't make like wokeism is like you can't have a sense of humor about anything.
No, you cannot. And here's the thing, like I watched the Young Turks. We know the Young Turks, big YouTube,
Oh, yeah.
big platform.
Oh, yep.
They had a failed presidential candidate who owns and runs the thing with Chunk Yogurt.
Yogurt.
Chungus Yogurt.
I like how his co-host Anna Kasparian has been slowly moving towards the right.
Right, exactly. That's been enjoyable. That's been enjoyable. Their battles on the air have been enjoyable to watch.
Hey,
but they,
Tank just wants horse bestiality to be legal.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Now in the
I mean, it took it from the horse's mouth.
it with the peanut butter, sugar cubes. Jerry. So they actually reacted to Jerry Seinfeld, his comments on this, and they actually agree that the left had actually been one of the worst participants in cancel culture in comedy specifically.
Yeah, comedians stopped performing at colleges because of this shit.
Yeah, but even they're like, but the right cancels people for comedy too. It's like, what are you fucking talking about?
When have you heard anything like that?
That's never happened once in the history of ever. Like, conservatives may leave a show, they may walk out, but they're not like, they're not heckling unless they're
go on
drunk.
Reddit and bitch about you.
Yeah, unless they're absolutely drunk, they're not standing up and ruining your fucking show. Unless they're plastered. But then you blame that on the drugs. You blame that on the alcohol. All right, but we actually have Jerry Seinfeld's comments here, so we're actually going to listen to those. Let me get that going. Slim, I'm not. If you can't hear it, Slim, I'm sorry. Not your fault.
Just sit
I
there
heard the
quietly
other
for a
video
minute.
you were playing before we started this, so I should be able
Okay,
to.
cool. All right, guys. So we're gonna be listening to Jerry Seinfeld's basically Jerry Seinfeld's evolution on his own comments here. So
there were two things that I have to say I regret and that I have to take back. I said that the extreme left has suppressed the art of comedy.
confirmed.
I did say that.
Yeah.
That's not true. It's not true.
No?
No. If you're Lindsey Vonn, if you're a champion skier, you can put the gates anywhere you want on the mountain. She's going to make the gate. Whatever the culture is, we make the gate. You don't make the gate, you're out of the game. The game is, where is the gate? How do I make the gate and get down the hill in the way I want to? So,
What the fuck?
does culture change? And are there things I used to say that I can't say, that everybody's always moving? Yeah, but that's the biggest, easiest target. The accuracy of your observation has to be 100 times finer than that. So I don't think as I said, the extreme left has done anything to inhibit the art of comedy.
Okay, so he's talking to Tom Papa right there, another comedian.
Yeah.
Does he clap back at him at any point during this interview?
So I watched the 3-minute breakdown, and he gives Jerry a lot of room on this just to keep talking. So if after the 3 minutes he did, I didn't catch it. It's not a part of what's going around though. Like Jerry Seinfeld's comments are kind of what's floating around here. It's not
Right,
necessarily the conversation.
He's basically talking about like they're not a problem in comedy or whatever, but they're like gatekeeping comedy to where you have to meet like certain requirements of jokes.
Well,
And it's like, so maybe he's like, the comedian's got to be even more excellent to get to this point of not offending anyone while also being funny.
okay, so devil's advocate here, I want to try to steelman his argument. His argument appears to be that culture evolves, and so things are found more or less funny as culture evolves. Like a joke about Rome would probably not land today. Like if you talked
I'd
about
find it
stubbing your toe on a marble column, you probably wouldn't like break out in dying laughter. But that's culture evolves gradually. This was an entire ideology that was like, you cannot offend anyone, and comedy is overtly offensive. It's like, that's the nature of comedy, is that it's meant to offend so that you react.
You know what the Soviet Union didn't have?
Comedy.
Comedians.
Oh yeah.
You know what happened after the USSR went down in 91? Like there's this comedian from Estonia, Ari Maddie, been on the Kill Tony show, blew up pretty big. After they fell in 91, comedy was thriving there. They were going bananas with it.
Yeah. I mean, comedy is like the idea that the left didn't have anything to do with comedy being absolutely attacked and assailed was
How's the comedy movie genre going right now?
absolutely dead. It's absolutely dead. There's no such thing as a good comedy movie.
I don't even see any comedy movies really coming out nowadays.
No, me
It's all
neither.
superhero and
Yeah, I
action
can't even tell you
movies.
the last like trailer I've seen for one.
Deadpool and Wolverine, but then Deadpool and Wolverine, the left
that's a hero.
attacked it.
Yeah.
Well, the left attacked it. Like even if I make the case that Deadpool and Wolverine is a comedy as much as an action film, an action comedy,
Which
even
you
if I
could-
make that
which
case.
you could argue that.
Yeah, even if I make that case, the left actually attacked it for gay jokes and like being two straight white males making comedy and making fun action films. Like that, like the left attacked it. Like when people like, first off, the left doesn't make comedy. Like
No,
in my
well,
mind,
they do, and it's like, oh, what's her name? Hannah Gatsby or whatever.
Mhm.
That had like a Netflix special where it's more of a TED talk about getting raped instead of a comedy show.
Yeah. And so even like the Young Turks are like, no, the left ruined comedy. Where they're wrong is that they also say the right ruined comedy. It's like the right does not dominate colleges, like you said, Cody. It's like comedians don't do colleges anymore. The right didn't kick them out of there. The right didn't kick them out of New York and all the comedy scene that's there.
Why do
The
you
right
think
doesn't heckle them.
comedy also left out? It was New York and LA were the two biggest comedy scenes. Now it's New York and Austin, Texas,
Yeah,
because everyone moved the fuck out of there.
exactly. I mean, here's the actual like
And Austin, Texas is still very freaking liberal.
the strongest evidence for the left ruining comedy is that Joe Rogan had to literally create his own comedy club with the mothership.
True.
Like,
Yeah.
like he actually had to brick and mortar up a brand new comedy club with zero. Like, I think his sales pitch, if I'm remembering correctly, this is a while ago, was no cancellations. We're doing it during like
no cameras.
no
you can't have your
cameras.
phones. Yeah, they actually take your phones at the door.
Yeah. So they like Joe Rogan actually stepped into that. Like, I like Joe Rogan for some things, hate him for one specific reason. I'm like, you are absolutely.
Oh, that interview's happening. Don't worry.
I don't actually believe it.
Mm.
I'll believe it when I see it and the fact that he was like, well, if I have him on, I have to have her on. I'm like,
Dude, could you imagine Kamala on a 3-hour sit down?
no,
Dude, she can't even do 10 minutes.
she can't. I'm starting to feel a little, and bad for her is not the right word. I'm starting to feel like it's kind of cringy having her lose so hard all the time. It's like it's almost like torment. It's almost bad.
Yeah,
But-
no, comedy's actually been having a resurgence lately because more and more people are just like, shut the fuck up. If you're getting offended, fine. Just get out there.
Shut up about it.
Yeah.
It's your choice to get offended.
Well, and this is like Bill Burr, the reason his career will never die is because he refuses to apologize.
Yeah, I
Like,
never apologize.
Well, I mean, my personal rule on apologies is if you did something wrong, apologize once and mean it, and then you're done. Like, you're not apologizing a second time, it's over.
But if you're wrong,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
could have been right.
Then don't apologize. Well, I refuse to apologize for things I don't do wrong. Like, if I've done nothing wrong, I won't humor you. I
Right.
won't apologize. I won't sugarcoat anything. Like, I'm trying to live that life. But if I am wrong, I want to sincerely apologize one time, but the ball is in that other person's court. And if they're just going to use as a cudgel against you, then I'm not there for it. I'm like, oh, well, I saw that fucking coming. That's why I don't apologize. Rule number 1 is don't apologize. Rule number 2
Yeah,
is
that's the rule.
apologize.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. Jerry Seinfeld. I didn't see this coming. Jerry Seinfeld is probably.
Because he's been a holdout for the past decade about this.
Well, I saw Jerry Seinfeld and Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider is a
Rob
freaking.
Schneider.
He is a freaking villain to the left.
Oh, yeah.
That guy is absolutely a villain. Like, did you see his interview when he's talking about how he wanted to speak up, and I think he was talking about his manager, and his manager's like, you can't talk about this stuff, and he's like, well, what if I feel like I have to? It's like, dude, you have a family. It's like, I was listening to that. I was like, oh shit. They just fucking threatened your family. I would go scorched earth. I would fuck my family. Like, I would be out of principle, you're going down. Out of principle, I will take you with me. Like,
Yeah, I think I watched his Tucker Carlson interview.
I love you both, but I will just say hostages won't work against me. Like, I will let you both die in principle.
We have your
Like-
family. What are your demands?
It's like, you can have them. I'll pay you to
You
keep
can
them.
have 'em. I don't want them
I
anymore.
don't want them back. Yeah,
They
taking
ran their usefulness.
taking hostages won't work on me. I'm not that guy.
Well, should we talk about Velma for a quick bit?
We have a few minutes left. I think we are obligated. Let's move into another topic. We are going to be covering the Velma. The Velma.
Yeah.
Velma.
Classic,
Yeah, dude,
award-winning.
It is my favorite Scooby-Doo project.
Yeah.
Mine too.
So we have it confirmed. Hold on. Let's get into the first story. Then we're going to be talking about. Actually, no. Let's work our way up. So HBO shows striking evidence that Velma is a flop. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Who saw this coming?
No,
No one.
nobody.
Everything. There was a video. Who? Oh yeah, that's that. That is that Park Place. That's the writer from that Park Place talking about everything woke in Velma. So
Dude, that's got to be like a really long fucking video.
yeah, it definitely is. But okay, so let's talk about what our experience was with Velma, because we did the pilot. We did a reaction to the pilot. It's on our YouTube channel from last year.
Did we watch 2 episodes or just the one?
We just watched we watched the pilot, and then we started the second, and we gave up instantly. We're like, we tapped out. It kicked our ass, man. What are we gonna do?
It was so good that I had to turn the TV off and just.
Or your brain would melt.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, okay. With this show, it was going to be canceled after 2 seasons, regardless, because first of all, this first season did horribly, but they recorded and were animating both seasons at the same time. It was just greenlit for 2 seasons from the get go.
Yep.
So it was, as soon as this one finished up, they were gonna cancel it.
Well, so there was no audience for it. Also, it's like the Scooby-Doo adults.
No, Mindy Kaling is the audience for it, the one that wrote it.
There's one person audience.
Self-inserted
This is
herself as Velma.
This is another one of those like your audience showed up. Here's what we got.
Yeah,
It's another one of those.
it's like, no, your audience did show up. It's just there's 4 of you.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually remember the only things I remember from the pilot are the funny. There were 2 funny moments. There was the My Pony during the funeral where they're
Ponies,
singing My Pony.
Yeah,
That was pretty
genuine.
good.
And then I vaguely recall some joke about Fred that I vaguely remember, kind of, but it was a long time ago. So, but this show had no real target audience. It actually seriously offended people who actually liked Scooby-Doo, grew up with it, and I think that Scooby-Doo is still. I think Scooby-Doo still has ongoing projects,
I'm pretty sure it does.
and there's still an audience
I
for
think so,
Scooby-Doo.
yeah.
Like,
I like my personal favorite Scooby-Doo project is the one on YouTube Shorts where the gang is slowly realizing that Scooby can talk and he has to murder all of them and reset the universe.
Scooby is the time god. But I mean, you had the Scooby-Doo came out in like the 70s. You had every generation had some version of
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo. They have movies out the wazoo, like toys, like all sorts of shit. Like Scooby-Doo is a huge
They
franchise.
have actual vans driving around in the town we live in.
I mean, if anything,
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
if anything, you could afford to like make more bad Scooby-Doo projects, and it'd probably be fine. They'd all vanish into the ether like this would. But the idea that you're just like the idea that Warner Brothers is just so comfortable throwing money away.
Which is, well, I mean, it's not their money. They're throwing investors' money away. That's how they're so far in debt.
Yeah, too. But yeah, Velma had, if we had the striking evidence, the show started with a lot of advertisements about hating on straight white males. Fred was actually the butt of the joke a bunch of the time and targeted for
Everybody's in love with Velma.
it. They race swapped Shaggy. They did.
Well, they did that with every character except for Fred.
Well, Daphne's white. Oh, I guess.
I don't know.
What do you think? What do you think? Velma? Or no, not Velma. No, Daphne. Daphne's white. That's what I said.
She's looking a little Asian.
I mean, it's cartoon.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Perfect circles for eyes, like impossible. Who can draw a perfect circle? That's not reasonable. But yeah, so they did race swap a bunch of characters in the show. That was intentional.
I do more with their skin color.
Yep. But we knew back at the beginning of October that the show was probably not going to be reported for a 3rd season, and it got confirmed by Max themselves. So Max has actually announced that they will not be getting a 3rd season. So the cancellation is official. Velma is dead.
Oh no!
And it was Old Man Jenkins.
No.
No one even knew season 2 came out.
I want to say that I watched it, but that'd be a lie. So
I
won't lie.
heard the sentence uttered once. It's like, oh hey, season 2 of Velma's out, and that was the last thing I heard of it.
Yeah, no one wanted to touch this thing again.
No one
We're
talked
just
about it.
dancing on its grave. That's kind of been our theme for the summer, the back half of the summer. Was we were dancing on Concord, Dustborn, Velma.
Yeah.
I mean, basically any project that's dying.
Agatha, Rings of Power.
Any project that's dying, we're just
Dude,
happy to dance
yeah,
on.
some of this shit's so bad now that like people that review and talk about pop culture shit don't even watch these shows anymore. Like Agatha, like half the people that I watched gave up completely. They're not reviewing it anymore or
it's like-
talking about it.
I am hearing mixed things about Rings of Power. Like people are telling me, people who I actually trust are telling me mixed things about the Rings of Power, and it's like that was not my experience with it. Like my
I
experience
heard
with
the
it was
second season was even worse than the first. So
I mean I have people in my life who are hanging in on it, and they're not actually bothered by the show at all, and they're just normies. But I mean
even the stupid, like, even if you don't know the lore of Tolkien's universe, I mean the stupid shit that goes on in that show has got to bug you.
I mean consider our standards today.
Mine are very high.
Yeah, well, I mean, consider the average person's standards today. Sorry, I definitely had the goalpost moved too close on that.
Kind of an asshole about this stuff. Yeah.
But no, if anything, I think I'm kind of curious to check out Rings of Power again, just to see what I'm missing. Because there's obviously something that normies are latching onto that I'm not seeing.
I'm even getting a little more upset with it now that I'm diving into the Tolkien universe now. I'm gonna get some audiobooks and whatnot and listen to that.
Honestly, I think we need to have a Tolkien YouTuber on to have this conversation more deeply.
Deeply. Do it when season 3 comes around in 2 years.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, they'll probably be too busy for us. But either way, I think that's where we're going to wrap up the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again. Really appreciate you guys hanging out. If you enjoy this content, again, please consider subscribing. It's free. It's the best way to support us. Share the video out there so we can hang out with more people, get more main characters into the fandom, and smash that like button. And we will catch you guys on the next one.